My dad could probably birdie this hole.
I don't think it has any place being a major, no.
Clearly, that's not really working.
I do think some of the par fours are kind of breakable.
Ultimately, having back-to-back majors is stupid.
What's up, degenerates? It's the disc golf world. I'm Jefferson, and we do not have Swiss cheese because someone forgot to do his packing for Worlds. Or I just didn't want to fire him back up talking about this so-called major. I don't know about you guys, but that course was way too easy. Which is what some of you really wanted me to say, but I'm not doing it. I'll just let the talking heads of disc golf do that for me on this episode of Soup. This is also the time you should write these channels down, so after this video, you can go watch their full episodes for more insight. Links are in the description below. If you didn't know, this is where we break down everything you may have missed from the week. Like, since when did Calvin Heimburg switch his putting routine?
I think I started doing it last season. And I don't know, just sometimes you struggle with putting and you just try to tweak something or do something a little different. But for me, it's like my normal miss is low. And I feel like a lot of times it's like I just get like a limp wrist and it's just like lazy and I don't actually flick the disc.
Let's get back to the whole course being too easy thing, as that dominated conversations on most podcasts.
I think it was just too easy for this stage. I think it's completely fine for a pro tour.
I actually think it's fantastic. They're all the same course. Ooh. I don't really care. I think it was fun to watch.
It's a little soft. It's completely fair to say. There's a lot of things that I think they need to do to try to punch up some of the challenge.
I don't think it has any place being a major, no. Because the reality is majors should be hard. They're the most prestigious events that we have in our circuit.
I absolutely feel like there's a home for this flavor of golf, this like approaching near perfection. If you want to win, you have to approach perfection.
I do love these kind of, where you got to birdie everything. I think that shows all around skill when you have to birdie everything. If you can shoot 13, 14, 15, 16 down in a single round at a major, that's incredible.
Do I think that a birdie or die style major can make sense? Yes, but I think as Brody was kind of pointing out, that needs to be the major's identity, in my opinion.
I think there's just too many forgettable holes, generally too short, generally too easy, and I'm just not a big fan of it.
It's not like the best course, but is it good enough? And given everything else that comes with it and the fact that I enjoyed watching it, and I'm fine with some events being like, I think you have to shoot it. It's doable to shoot 18 down is actually like exciting to me.
I don't mind the style of course for a major at all. And I think that there's something fun about the fact that in theory, someone could shoot 18 down and a simple 10 down round is not going to be good enough.
And my major's known as the birdie or die major. That's a sucky, I think, thing to have around you. I don't think you want that. I think that kind of belittles your major.
This is not cheap. No, this is not a cheap major. This is not something that I'm going to asterisk or something like that.
That was a lot of whining. Before I can add my own, let's hear what the pros have to say.
It ended up being somewhat of like a boring course to watch.
I would step up to a hole and I was like, okay, my dad could probably birdie this hole. And it would happen 10, 11, 12 of the 18 holes over there.
It scores easier than most courses, but that's only when you're throwing good because the amount of out of bounds out there, it's basically on both sides of every single hole. So as soon as you're not throwing the disc well, like you could bogey every hole and I wouldn't be surprised.
The course was playing relatively easy if you were on. If you weren't feeling a 100% of your drive, the course could be a total nightmare.
There's different challenges at different courses. And this one, to me, was going to be the mental grind of like, I can't miss. Like, every single mistake feels like the end of your tournament in a way, especially a bogey. It really was more of a mental battle than anything, honestly, just trying to stay locked in every single shot. Whereas on harder courses, you can kind of just like get away, get out of your head and play really, really bad out there. You really have to push to birdie every single hole because it feels like everyone's just birdieing everything.
I feel like when you start messing up, the pressure can get to you pretty quick because you really don't have that many more mistakes if you want to still be in it because someone's just gonna get through the course clean.
I know some of the players that I'm on tour with don't really like the course at all.
I didn't have a single player say that it was too easy. In fact, most players are like, look, it's hard. It's the OB is treacherous and it's hard knowing that you have to shoot so well.
I'm not going to argue with the best in the world because I'm not that big of an idiot. Not exactly sure why people are discrediting this venue. After researching the topic, by that I mean watching all these podcasts, I found it comes down to 3 reasons. The first, an identity crisis.
Probably going to have to like reclassify European major, even if it's not called the Open.
I just want them to sink in and finally have some sense
Give
of
some
like
identity
tradition
to
and
it,
some
yeah.
identity. And when we don't have that, we have to take things at face value and judge it how we would judge any old Pro Tour. And that's where we kind of go to like, well, course is a bit too easy.
I don't mind that it's an easy course, but I do agree that over time it will kind of have an identity crisis with the European Open.
Some sort of identity. I think that's a very important thing for you to kind of keep some sort of history, prestige to the major, something that you can build on year after year, and something that you are looking forward to that specific tournament. And
even if this was one of the 4 majors and disc golf decided we want one of our 4 majors to be a like ode to the roots of disc golf, the shorter, scoreable major.
That's what I was about to say.
Then I could even get behind that. If that was like, this is going to be a major every year and this is this major's identity.
What exactly does having an identity mean? Well, for Worlds, I guess it has being the best. Check. USDGC has Winthrop and the Christmas trees. Check. Champions Cup is the wooded major, most of the time. However, technically that was given by the fans, so this event is still looking for a personality like it's a professional disc golfer. Maybe that proves the community wants a theme. Then we have the European major, which is special because, well, it's in Europe. We have a complicated history with the whole thing, and moving forward should figure it out. Although, I think it's only going to get messier.
The European major is always the birdie or die, more the roots of disc golf. You have to have touch to play out there, all of that. I can get behind that 100%. But when it's just like we get it here and there, it's going to feel out of place. I think it's a phenomenal course for a normal Pro Tour event. I just think the major, if they're going to go that route, that's got to be the whole identity. And I don't see UC and the European Open team going to that identity.
It's going to be hard to maintain that, like Hunter pointed out, if it's rotating with the European Open, which is a completely different venue and a completely different vibe.
If this event existed for years and years and years and it was known as like a birdie or die major, like it or not, this does pop up in our sport more often than not, or not more often, not, but often throughout the season. So like it's not so foreign to have it be one of the 4 majors, and it does give a different viewing experience where like, you know, you've got these guys dueling, and like if they just miss anything, you know, they're kind of out of the race. Like
if they want to have one birdie or die major, I'm okay with it. Is it going to be my most exciting that I can't wait to watch round 1 through the round 4? No, but it will make it for an exciting finish, which we got at this one.
We'll have to see if UC continues the European Open or what the next few years have in store for us. In 2029, when Worlds is in Estonia, are we doubling down majors again? Who knows? I seriously wouldn't have negative emotions if we had the birdie or die major always in Europe, because it feels like that's the direction it's going anyway. Some of what I would already call must-play courses over the pond are going to keep getting shred the more times the American pros go over there to play. In all, my opinion is having an identity isn't necessary, but it's something that I think can only benefit, and as a media guy, I highly encourage. Reason 2 is being overshadowed by the World Championship.
Ultimately, having back-to-back majors is stupid.
As a non-foundation staff member, I will also say that having 2 majors next to each other is stupid.
I can't wait to listen to all the podcasts who said this major is the one that doesn't matter, no one will remember it. You don't know what you're talking about. This was absolutely legendary, and I want to be here forever.
Reason 3 people think this course wasn't major worthy was the redundancy in shots and how boring the par 4s were.
Like I kept making a joke like we're just playing La Mirada out here, like it's playing the same exact way with these like pretty soft par 4s.
But you had a lot of these short par 4s where you would throw a shot and it's like, oh, that wasn't that great of a shot, but it's okay. They'll probably still be able to like get to the basket. So it didn't really seem like the tee shot mattered all that much on a lot of the par 4s.
You could have shanked a shot and still saved birdie.
Short par 4 just makes it where one good shot earns a birdie. But what makes it easier than par 3s is you have 2 opportunities to throw that good shot.
Right.
Where like if you somewhat mess up your tee shot, birdie's not off the table. If you throw a great tee shot, there were some times where it was like a jump putt in or a chippy forehand or a little chippy putter backhand where it's like, even if these guys really mess it up, they're going to give themselves a 25-footer.
And with the par fours being so short, you could play conservative and still birdie the hole. And if you mess up a shot, you could still birdie the hole.
You also watch people that are throwing well and they're, basically jump putting to some of the par fours because of they launched a driver down the fairway, which, I do think some of the par fours are kind of breakable in that way.
The par fours were a little short, so you could pretty much get yourself a birdie if you blast it up there. But even those shots are like low ceiling, like 450 to 500 feet to then like secure the birdie from there.
I thought some of the holes were a little too routine for players, which maybe that's what we want to test them on, is making sure that they can hit those routine shots. But sometimes it almost felt like a slightly above good shot put them in a really good position. Like it didn't have to be a perfect shot, but it was almost like a good shot ended up being a perfect shot.
I just hate some of the redundancy in this course. Like holes 8 and 17 were the exact same tunnel gauntlet shot. There was like a difference of 36 feet of distance. And that was pretty much it.
There are difficult shots. Like you have to smoke the drive on 7 to get into position to then throw to a tiny green, or you're rethrowing. Then 8, you're throwing like a tunnel shot with OB right next to the tunnel. I mean, it's treacherous.
I totally agree that the par 4s felt like power drive, pitch approach, move on. However, we also got to remember we're watching the top 7 disc golfers in the world. No duh, they're going to make it look routine. The challenge comes from having to repeat the fundamental shots every hole for the entire tournament. The difficulty is not being able to make a mistake, which one could argue puts so much more pressure on the players. I'm not putting an asterisk on this major for that reason. I mean, look at some of the names that missed the cut. Goes to show it isn't as easy as it may have appeared on coverage. But yeah, those par 4s can be changed and the course could play so much harder.
Some of those par 4s, they could push the baskets back a little, and like there is room for a little bit of difficulty to be added.
Imagine if they come to the course and 16 of the 18 holes are in level 2 and they have to play pretty much a completely different course.
Yep.
That was originally feeling like a sprint.
There's some of the easier par 4s. I think they could tuck the baskets into some other tree pockets and whatnot.
If the course changes the A positions to B and then makes alternative C locations that are more difficult, this course would increase respect.
I thought it was awesome. I couldn't wait to see them play hole 10. I couldn't wait to see them play hole 12. If that's you, I think the best way of thinking about it is,
would you look at that? The third video this week, I have to discuss Brody Smith's opinion. But before I break down this convoluted analogy, I want to give a shout out to everyone still calling us salty when in reality, Brody's the only professional truly consistently speaking his unfiltered opinion online. For that, I have a lot of respect, and I appreciate that he gets other pros on his show to discuss their thoughts on the latest hot topics all of us disc golf fans want. This week on Tour Life, Calvin Heimburg joined to answer the most asked question from the weekend. And to all you Eagle lovers out there, you might just be getting something special. That's the disc, not the person, by the way.
We're in the works on a disc, I think, for the win. I think it might be some Eagles, so the people might be getting what they want.
Okay, now that we got the big hitters out the way, we can get into the side conversation about how the course is too easy. But like, who really wants to talk about that? Oh yeah, that's right, everyone. Kind of the purpose of this video. Whatever.
I basically told Ezra he's like an alien and he's coming to Earth for the first time when we had Ezra on. And I said I gave him ice cream and he had it and he's like, this ice cream's incredible. And he's like, I want more. And so I gave him some more ice cream. And then like a week later, I gave him ice cream, but then I was eating ice cream with some stuff in it. And he's like, what do you got over there? I'm like, oh, it's just ice cream. He's like, no, there's stuff over there. Let me try it. And he tries it. And he's like, what the heck is this? I was like, oh, there's cookie dough ice cream. He's like, there's cookie dough ice cream? I'm like, yeah. He's like, this is way better. Why the heck have you been giving me just vanilla?
For a second there, I thought I was listening to Drew Gibson. We're going to have to go bar for bar like this is a Silas Schultz diss track to figure out this analogy. So you got this alien that we must not really like because we gave him vanilla ice cream, but okay, he loves it. A week later, he sees another person slobbering down what looks to be ice cream, but has some weird things on it. Our so-called alien friend says, hey yo, what's up with that? And eventually gets a taste. He takes a second to process what he just experienced for the first time, and after some seconds, minutes, what felt like hours passed, he was finally ready to express what we've all been waiting for. And you know what the alien said? What the freaking heck is this? Fucking tastes like straight ass. The vanilla is so much better. The analogy basically boils down to, trust me guys, if they do it the way I say, disc golf will be better.
If you are enjoying this type of disc golf, imagine if we're seeing the top players being pushed to their limits and having to throw shots that are super challenging and having to execute that.
I can agree with Brody just said and still like birdie or die disc golf better. It's a style of the game that's not going away, and that's okay. Instead of trying to change thousands of fans' opinions, we should just lean into it. Kind of like how the Estonia crew did and put on the greatest event disc golf has ever seen. We have wooded courses, golf courses, park style, birdie or die. Maybe we just got introduced to a new style.
It's arena disc golf.
It is totally arena disc golf.
What exactly does that mean? Well, just listen to this.
Either we play on okay course in a great location, like where many people live, so many people can come watch, or we play on a great course in the middle of nowhere where almost no one shows up. And Matthias just said he thinks we need to bring disc golf to the people and not ask the people to come to disc golf, because clearly that's not really working.
If we can get this many spectators, I don't understand why we are complaining. Think about it like you're the Pro Tour. Every person there is a dollar sign, and the arena is the way to go.
I think it would be way better for us and the sport and the tour, on a financial level at least, if we played on worse courses or smaller courses in better locations. I think an event somewhere near downtown Chicago would be way better for the sport than an event in Peoria.
Delwood is an hour away from Chicago, and according to UDisc, currently is the 19th best course in the world. Oh, and has already held the DGPT event in the past. Now, do they want to host? That's another question. Let us know if you thought that major was worthy of the title, or if you think birdie or die disc golf is boring. Swiss and I are headed to Finland right now, getting ready for the World Championships. You're not going to want to miss out on our daily recap, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. What are you even doing?